Tesla had some pretty good news come out over this weekend, and we need to talk about this in conjunction with Tesla's earnings that are going to be this Wednesday and after hours. Let me tell you right now, if Tesla's earnings are as good as I expect they are, and much better than what the markets expect currently, Tesla is going much higher from here. You could potentially see a short squeeze alongside a gamma squeeze. The both of these together can make a very powerful up move a real possibility for Tesla stock. Now, we're going to get into everything you guys need to know about the news that came out over this weekend, and there's quite a bit of good news out there, as well as what's going to be happening this week, not only with Tesla, but also in the broad markets as far as the economic data. Let's go ahead and get straight into it. If this is your first time to the channel, well, lucky you. If you want to stay up to date with everything happening with Tesla as well as the broader markets, well, hit that subscribe button as well as the like button. It costs you nothing. It's free 99 and hopefully will help you make money. So even before we get into the news that happened over this weekend and what we can expect from Tesla's earnings, I want to talk about Friday, because Friday was a very aggressive rally to the upside. At one point, you were up over 2.5%. Tesla actually hit a new high of this cycle at $285.30 per share. And it looks like some upside pressure to Tesla's share price is probably the most likely outcome for Monday, Tuesday, and the trading day Wednesday. And that is because if you are short or if you are betting against Tesla and Elon, that's usually a bad bet to make. And heading into Tesla's earnings, given where we're seeing some of the short interest numbers, it makes a lot of sense to reduce your exposure. Granted, these short sellers are losing over $100 million every dollar Tesla rises from here. And this rally that we've seen on Friday is a pretty good sign of good things to come for Tesla. Speaking of good things for Tesla, the Cybertruck production has finally started. It seems like. Now, Tesla has built Cybertrucks before. A couple here, a couple there to do some testing with, obviously for the demos, historic demos where the glass actually shattered in the Cybertruck. We know this, right? Tesla has made a Cybertruck before. This is not a concept type of project. We are at the end stages where we should be getting mass production soon. Well, this picture that Tesla posted on its Twitter with all of the workers, presumably the ones that are on this assembly line, I'm going to call it, to make this Tesla being pictured here. Now, odds are this is not just for fun, right? This is probably for Tesla a very historical moment where they've been looking to produce the Cybertruck for now years, and they're finally starting to see some of them roll off the assembly line. That's where a lot of people are debating right now. Is this just another Cybertruck being built, or is this actually the start of productions? Is the testing done? Are deliveries going to start soon? Now, given we have earnings on Wednesday and we're getting this picture 4 days before, probably Tesla's going to give us some very good news with the Cybertruck, likely telling us that they're starting deliveries actually right now. Not to mention that last time Tesla put out a new model, deliveries jumped exponentially for Tesla 12 months down the line. People started to see the Model Y in 2020, and they started to go to Tesla's website. They started to buy the Model 3, and they started to buy the Model Y, and that really kick-started things for Tesla, and Tesla grew deliveries by over 80% in 2021, 12 months later. So bottom line, did production start? And does that lead to deliveries coming soon? Or is this just another model Cybertruck? That's what investors want to know coming on earnings. And from a logical kind of standpoint, this is probably the first deliverable Cybertruck that was just produced, and I bet they started deliveries even possibly days ago, if not in the coming days. Now, this second bit of news that came out over this weekend is massively bullish for Tesla, and I'll tell you why. Tesla hits the ABS market in the first sale since Blue Chip Upgrade. If you don't know what the ABS market is, it stands for asset-backed securities. And essentially, this is like a loan with collateral. If you get a loan on your house, right, you get a lien, you go refinance, pull equity out. Well, it's kind of like one of those things. It's a loan that's backed by assets. Now, in the case for Tesla, they haven't done this in a very long time. The last time they actually did any of these asset-backed securities kind of loans was in September of 2021. They tried to do this in March of 2022, but obviously you've seen the war in Ukraine break out at that time. The markets were going down the toilets. It was not a good time to go to essentially the bond market and try to raise capital. Now, well, they're doing this now, and it's a lot better time to do this. The spreads have narrowed, and there's more liquidity looking for, a 5 to 7% yield. Well, Tesla is looking to raise $1 billion using prime auto lease transactions, a sign of that credit markets are starting to recover. Now, let me tell you why this is massively bullish for Tesla. Tesla is looking to grow 50% year over year. They're looking to build potentially multiple factories at the same time. They're going to need some additional capital. Sure, they make a couple $1 billion of profit every quarter, but when you're building factories that are this big and this expensive and branching out, right, as any good business does, well, you go to the markets and you raise capital. That's what the stock market was built for, is for companies to sell stock, to raise capital, to grow their business. Now, in recent times, there has been different things you can do, such as the ABS market. This is massively bullish because Tesla won't have to sell stock. You and I will not get diluted, more than likely. More than likely, they're going to this ABS market to raise some capital so they don't have to dilute shareholders. This is not a dilution, right? This is simply a collateral-backed loan. Sure, they'll pay 5 to 7%, but Tesla's, return on equity is way higher than that. 20, 30%. Around 25% if we want to get specific. So this is probably good because it probably means we're not going to get dilution anytime soon. It was clear at some point in the next 6 to 12 months, Tesla would have to sell stock and raise capital. Maybe this prolongs this, and maybe it means we won't need to see it in general. In the news over this weekend, Elon Musk says Twitter's cash flow is negative due to ad revenue declines and heavy debt. And Elon actually said Twitter has still seen a 50% drop in advertising revenue. So this is negative potentially for Tesla if Elon would have to sell more stock. Now, it doesn't look like he will have to, but anything that shows that Twitter's not doing well, it could make markets not really that happy about Tesla. Now, good thing is we're heading into earnings, and good thing is short sellers are about to get crushed in their short positions because Tesla is going to give us a trophy case quarter, as Dan Ives says. But any other time, this could have had a bigger negative impact to Tesla stock, and this is certainly something that you should watch over the next coming months if things get worse for Twitter. I don't expect they will, but if they do, that could be a negative catalyst down the line for Tesla stock. Now let's go ahead and talk about Tesla's earnings report and what the markets are expecting here. Currently, the average consensus estimate from all 20 analysts that are covering, well, over 20 analysts that are covering Tesla stock. I believe there's around 46 analysts currently that are covering Tesla stock. The average EPS estimate is 79 cents. Some are under, some are above that. But there's a huge range here. The Zacks consensus estimate is for EPS of 83 cents per share and $24.88 billion. Some of the highest estimates that we are seeing for Tesla's EPS are around 89 cents. Some of the lowest estimates we're seeing are around 73 cents for EPS. Revenue, average analyst estimate, is around $24.5 billion. Zacks consensus estimate is around $24.88 billion. The lowest estimate is about $24 billion, and the highest estimate is about $25 billion. So it really varies this time around. There's a lot of people that are not really dead set on where Tesla's earnings are going to be. A lot of the time, it's easier to see, especially when there's not different markets cutting prices or even raising prices like we've seen in Q2. It's a little easier most times around. This time, not so much. The expectations are very wide. Me personally, I believe Tesla's top line revenue number is going to come in about $24.9 billion, potentially as high as $25.1 billion. That's the range that I'm expecting. It wouldn't surprise me to see $25 billion flat. That would shatter really all of your analyst expectations, and that would be a huge beat. Now, your EPS number likely to come in around 94 to even as high as 97 cents per share. That would be much higher than the average analyst estimate currently of 79 cents of EPS. Where things get interesting is, let me tell you right now, the markets don't care about this as much. It's pretty clear. Markets right now are expecting in between 8 and 10% net profit margins. I think EPS is going to come in over 90 cents because I think net profit margins are probably around 11.5 to 12%, higher than where 95% of your analysts are. I think you and I would agree that's probably realistic. Tesla's probably going to beat across the board. They have in the last 4 quarters. I don't see a reason why they wouldn't now when analysts have such a low bar for Tesla. Tesla doesn't have to do that well to be average analyst estimates. But the markets don't care about this. The markets are going to care more about, does Tesla raise their delivery estimates for 2023? Is the Cybertruck starting to be delivered? What price is the Cybertruck going to sell for? That could tell the markets a lot about potential demand there. If we get a big variation change from the previous pricing that we've seen for the Cybertruck, might not be a good thing. If it comes in pretty stable from what we have seen last time around, which I think it likely will, well, that's probably a positive for Tesla. Not only that, but your auto gross margins. That is something you should get very familiar with heading into Tesla's earnings. Anything over 20%, and this stock is going absolutely parabolic. Anything under 15%, and we're not going to be in good shape. Now, again, it's the guidance on auto gross margins that matters. Not necessarily what we're getting for this quarter, but where does Tesla see their margins going next quarter? Do they think they're going to have to cut prices? What does Elon say about the economy and the demand picture? Those are all going to be things that are equally, but likely more important than the numbers that we're going to get from this earnings. So the earnings call itself and the actual report we get from Tesla probably going to be a lot more impactful for Tesla stock rather than just the raw numbers. And this is where I think Tesla's going to shine. I think Tesla has room to raise their delivery estimates. I think Tesla's clearly going to tell us things are doing well. They don't expect they're going to have to cut prices all too much, and we should expect margins to improve throughout the rest of 2023. We probably get an update on full self-driving or the take rate of full self-driving. Does that go up from where it is. Meaning if Tesla sells 100 vehicles, does more people start to take full self-driving than they maybe did in the past? That's all big for Tesla's net bottom line. But even on top of that, energy storage, that's going to be another big story of this earnings, because we're expecting that could go up as high as 2% or 200% year over year, and possibly over 50% quarter over quarter. Could be some very impressive numbers that we get out of energy and storage. Now, short sellers could be massively off sides heading into and after Tesla's earnings, because I think it's pretty clear. We're not going to get any new information that is super negative that the markets haven't already heard, right? Analysts already aren't bullish on Tesla. They're already thinking the worst about Tesla. Tesla still has a demand problem. They're going to have to continue to cut prices. Competition is coming, really, by the end of this year in 2024. The same things that we have heard every time Tesla stock has rallied in the past, analysts are trying to say it all over again. This means Tesla has a low bar to beat, and if we get anything that's not super negative, well, the shorts and the bears are going to continue to be caught off sides. This time around, let me tell you, the short interest is at the highest level that it has been at in the last 2 years. Now, the amount of shares that is currently sold short sits at about 96.5 million shares. This means short sellers are losing about $100 million every time Tesla stock goes up $1. So when you see these very aggressive rallies, and likely after earnings will be another aggressive move, short sellers are losing a lot of money. And most of these shorts took out their short positions when Tesla was $120 to $150. As I have said many times in the past, after this earnings report, we might get a NVIDIA moment. We might get a Netflix moment where everyone was so negative, and in reality, things were fine the whole time. Or a Facebook moment. Again, everyone was so negative, things were fine all along. Tesla or these other companies, right, tweak something, stop burning through as much money, and the stock price doubled. There's a potential that Tesla could see something similar. And a lot of that upside move could be fueled by a potential short squeeze. Now, it's not only a short squeeze, but also a gamma squeeze. On Friday, you've seen about 1,300 orders totaling $499.32 million in Tesla, with a positive order value of 72%. The option activity is extremely bullish. If we take a look at the volume that we seen on Friday, for this Friday's option expiration, it was 61% calls. Now, keep this in mind. A lot of the bullish funds, a lot of the long funds in Tesla have a lot of gains in Tesla. So to hedge here makes a lot of sense. And you would almost expect to see more put buying than call buying heading into Tesla's earnings for some of those longs to protect some of their downside. But that's not happening. By far, the most active strike for this Friday is that $300 call. On Friday alone, on last Friday, you've seen 56,000 contracts that were bought, that traded hands, and currently have 37,000 calls that are held in open interest. That's not to mention the 280 call, which seen volume of 45,000. The 315 call that seen volume of 12,000. The 350 call that seen volume of 15,000. The 310 call saw volume of 29,000. And the 290, same story, 30,000 for volume. 285 call, seen 34,000 for volume. It's literally the same story on every single strike that you look at here. And that's pretty clear to me that people are willing to bet that Tesla is going to go higher after this upcoming earnings. It's just the bears and the shorts that continue to short and be bearish. And they're the ones ultimately that gets blown up here. Some of the recent technical developments we have actually seen with the charts for Tesla is also very bullish. As I said previously, Tesla on Friday hit a new high of this cycle at $285.30 per share. Tesla stock closed above that strong resistance level of 280. But not only that, Tesla closed above this long-term downtrending line with a sizable gap here. You rallied above that. And you have not seen a close like this throughout this entire cycle so far. And if we pull out this chart to look at the longer term kind of trend line I have here, this is connecting the peaks of the rallies that we've seen in late 2021, as well as the bounces that we've seen in 2022. It's clearly been a downtrending level. And you've seen a lot of resistance around this level. Besides Friday, you ran through it and you closed above it. This is a pretty strong sign that Tesla's probably going to go higher from here. Not to mention you have definitely formed this bull flag pattern, which typically does give you upside of about 20%, depending how good Tesla's earnings are. That could mean even more upside than 20%. 20% upside from here would put Tesla stock at about $340 per share, give or take a couple cents. I think Tesla could rally to at least $350, if not higher than that, after earnings. $350 from here is 24.5%. Tesla stock could break all-time highs if earnings are so much better than what the bears are expecting, which is really my base case, right? You get that guidance raise from Tesla. You get reassurance that they're not going to have to cut prices and margins are going to get better. You could get more clarity on how they plan to monetize their recent supercharger partnerships. You're going to get more clarification on gigafactories, right? Mexico or India or Malaysia or any of these other potential factories, on top of literally everything else. There's so many potential catalysts. Full self-driving. There's so many I can make a whole video on it. But I don't think we're going to get negatives here. Or not negatives that we haven't heard already. And the markets, right? They hate uncertainty more than anything. And that's been a big factor that's been weighing on Tesla, is the uncertainty about if we're going to see more price cuts or where demand is or where margins are going to need to go. The only thing the markets hate more than bad news is uncertainty. And you've been plagued with uncertainty thus far. I mean, if you ask the bearish analysts, they're going to say, yeah, it's uncertain. Margins are going to have to, continue to come down. And depending on which bearish analyst you ask, they could be full of shit. Most of them are. Tesla recently as well, if you look at the technicals, has seen lower volume and has actually been going higher. On Friday, you've seen volume of 120 million. If you get that volume increase, in which I expect you will, typically that does happen around earnings for Tesla anyways, well, that's also going to be a very good thing for Tesla. The RSI is at 68, so it's not quite oversold. It definitely has, or overbought. It has some room to make an upside move here before you get back to even where we were at when Tesla stock was hitting 275, and the RSI was at about 90. So there's a lot of room for the RSI to continue higher. The MACD is in negative territory, but it has started to curl up and it's looking like it is improving. So from all aspects that I can see here, these shorts that are massively short for my opinion, no reason, which is unjustified, the extreme level of bullish option activity that you are seeing, the very strong technicals for Tesla, and even the news that we got over this weekend, which is a very strong sign, Cybertruck deliveries are likely starting now, if not in the coming days. And also Tesla raising capital in the bond market, not selling stock, in which some of the bears and even retail investors like you and I feared would happen in the next 6 to 12 months. Things just got incrementally better over this weekend based on those bits of news as well. Add that to the bullish thesis that I've went over here in this video and what we have continued to talk about every single day. And I think there's really only one outcome here. Tesla stock goes higher, likely to around $350 per share, could be even higher than that. Obviously, I'm not a financial advisor. Anything can happen. The stock could come crashing down if Elon wants to say a bunch of negative things about demand and the economy and cutting prices further. I just don't logically see that. And if you're betting on Tesla right now, that's what you are betting on. You are betting that Elon throws the kitchen sink at Tesla stock and says things are terrible. I'm not willing to make that bet. So in other words, Tesla stock could soon be going through a massive short squeeze as well as a gamma squeeze. That is going to do it for this video. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and source your comments, questions, or concerns down below in the comment section. If you guys want to come trade with me live in real time every time I make a trade on Tesla or any other stock, option, or crypto, link down below in the description. Again, that's not like a texting alert kind of thing. That is somewhere you can come talk to me, ask me questions. We can interact on a day-by-day basis. If you want to be a part of it, if it sounds like something you're interested in, definitely give it a try. Come join us. Link down below in the description. Check out the link for merch as well as the link to get yourself some free stock with Webull. Nonetheless, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. By the way, I will be live for Tesla's earnings, so be on the lookout for that Wednesday. But that is it. You guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.